Okay, guys, I am really excited to record this presentation. Art is one of my favorite topics, my favorite subjects. I'm always talking about it. I love art for my home. I love art for clients' homes, for the store. I love choosing it. I love talking about it. I love looking at it, all of the above. So I'm really excited to go through some of my rules of thumb, and ways that I shop for art, hang art, etc. So let's jump in. So, as far as style goes, we're adding art as a focal point. We're adding it for interest, texture, and layers. And if anyone knows me, if anyone's listened to anything I've ever said, I'm always talking about layers. I'm always talking about texture and interest. We don't want people walking into our homes and feeling like they're walking into a whiteboard. We want a lot of like variety, again, texture, color, etc. When you're choosing art, you want to consider the style, the vibe, the feeling of your house. Don't get too caught up in it. As you can see in this photo on the slide, like there are a lot of different things. There are some sketches, some abstracts, some scribbles, some cubism, some prints, and then I see a little turtle shell and a little cross. So like, don't be afraid to mix in like items, decor into your art. Don't be afraid to mix it up a little. And there are literally hundreds of different art styles. We're going to go over just like six so that you can see how vastly different styles can be. But don't be afraid, again, to mix it up and have fun with it. You can do abstract, like on the left. You can do realism, which is like the artist was trying to get as picture perfect as possible when painting. Baroque is really characterized by that deep contrast. So you're always going to see a really dark black background, and like whatever the subject is going to be really lit up, really pretty if you want to add depth. And again, another layer, like you can see in this kitchen, there's pop art, there's rococo, which is that really light, airy, fluffy, like almost misty look. Impressionism is just like a rough outline of what the actual image would look like. And then we have Renaissance, which is that very like ethereal, um, beams of light, angels. It's oftentimes religious. Fauvism is like it's like almost realistic, but the colors that they choose to use are very dramatic. And then Art Deco is just a really cool, sleek style. Usually they're pretty dark. Lots of like fun patterns and borders and uh, just like fun images. They were fun in the 20s. Okay, so as far as quality goes, you're investing in, or you want to invest in timeless quality. I always tell people, like, if you don't have a ton of money to spend, like, look in different places, or just wait. Like, don't buy something just to buy it, to put it on your wall. Wait until it's something that is going to last you a really long time and that you're going to love forever. You want to invest in pieces that are high quality and that are composed really, really well. A lot of times, lower cost art, I don't want to call out any names, but big box stores, like they're based on current trends, and in 2 years, you're going to be tired of it. So, like, yes, you spent less money, but you're going to have to replace it way more often. Whereas like if you're investing in pieces, it's going to last way longer and you're going to love it for a lot longer as well. And it just looks better. You get what you pay for, unfortunately. It's going to look more rich and it's going to be way more beautiful in your home. If you have to go with like a lower cost option, I definitely at the store, I have a ton of lower cost options. We tend to stick to landscapes, botanicals, and maps. And sometimes like little critters like a bird or insects like butterflies are really cute. And that's a better way to like make sure you're not skewing trendy and you're staying classic and timeless. Couple things to consider when you're choosing art for a room. Does the room need like more interest added, or does it just need a complement? On this photo, like it obviously, we already have some crazy wallpaper. We already have a leopard ottoman at this writing desk. We already have really pretty lamps. So like the art that is in this room is just a really pretty complement to the space. And then obviously, what wall color or pattern are we trying to play along with? we have a really busy paisley wallpaper in this photo, so the painting doesn't have to be over the top. It can just be a really pretty serene landscape that kind of goes color-wise with the room. And then obviously like furniture color and style have a lot to do with the art we choose. Um, I kind of like mixing this up and putting like a more uh, not contemporary, but just a little more updated like print, a little more abstract with traditional furniture or vice versa. Have really like pretty traditional art over more maybe more like a sleeker modern console. I think again it updates it without making it too trendy. Contrast. I love contrast. I think it adds depth, it adds interest. And a great way to add interest to your room is to contrast your art with your furniture or your wallpaper or whatever it may be, your drapes, your rug, whatever. So in this example, I used this hot pink overstuffed, beautiful, like chair and a half that's pink with red piping, which I'm obsessed with. If anyone wants to order this, please call me. I would love to put this in someone's house. My house is already full, so I cannot. But pairing that with this panel above it that looks like it's printed on like a vintage linen is just really, really cool. And it's a way to like tone it down and let the focal point be the furniture that you obviously love and probably paid a pretty penny for. Um, it's gorgeous. So contrasting is just a great way to keep things interesting. Another way to use art is as a layer. I love this bookshelf. Um, I love it. I think it's really, really pretty. It's really well done. There's a lot of interesting things in here. Someone might really like jewelry. I see like a hand at the bottom with rings that look like they've been loved. And then two prints that like are not necessarily the same. We always say coordinate, don't match, but they go with what is on the bookshelf. So we've got a really pretty neutral and we've got a really like pretty soft turquoise. It looks like maybe an ocean scene. It's layered in with all of the other decor on this bookshelf. It's really, really well done. Don't be scared to use your art just sitting on furniture or in a bookcase. You don't have to hang it. And using it as a layer is what creates depth in a space. So frames and matting, you can see in this photo in this slide, frames don't have to be exactly the same. Matting doesn't have to be exactly the same. Like play with your room, make them a little bit different. This photo is also a really good example of contrasting styles. So like they have a more of a modern like checkerboard with more traditional that like ship print in a photograph, and you know what I mean. So they did a really good job of mixing styles, contrast, frames, etc. Again, combining frames. So, a good rule of thumb is to either try to keep your prints very similar or try to keep your frames similar. And again, I'm saying similar, not matching. Coordinate, don't match. Coordinate, don't match. Coordinate, don't match. Repeat after me. So like you can see, all of these are a similar tone. They're like goldy or warm wood. And then all the prints are very, very different. So we've got the really dark, like Baroque floral. We have a photograph of a house. We have just a lot of different things together to make this little collage on the stairwell. It adds drama. It just keeps your interest. Again, it's not just like out of a box, slap it on the wall type of thing. Like you can tell someone really thought about what they were doing here. Um, and it's really, really pretty, really well done. Okay, lighting. You can use art to lighten up a space that doesn't get as much natural light. So I had someone in our workshop today ask, why not a mirror? Because a mirror reflects light and makes a space look bigger. So a little just dipping your toe into color theory, lighter colors are lighter because they reflect more light. So they're doing exactly what a mirror is doing, but they're also adding texture and interest. And not reflecting like what is already in the room. You don't want people to see what's in the room twice. They already saw it once, they don't need to see it again. So stick with a lighter color art if you want to light up your room. And then as far as just like lighting, make sure you're always using like a warmer tone light bulb so it doesn't feel like a hospital, a doctor's office, and you don't want to get a bunch of warm stuff and then put a cool light bulb there and have it competing. It really will just like it'll look horrible because your mind will be confused. And then make sure you're thinking about like if artwork is behind glass, just make sure it's somewhere that it's not getting a constant glare. Make sure it's positioned correctly. Um, I could talk about lighting all day. So it's also a really cool idea to add a light over an oil painting. It makes it feel super luxury, super high end, and it lights your art. Another thing to do is to make your lighting your art. So I have an example here of a really, really cool sconce that I would put honestly anywhere, but like it looks so cool in an office and it has like that little hand holding the little lantern. That's so cool. And then the other picture is just again that overhead lighting that's lighting up that art, which also is a really, really good size for the space that it's in, which we're going to talk about next. So, placement and spacing. Art, ideally, should cover half to three quarters of the visible surface area. So, in this picture you're seeing, it's covering a good three quarters of its allotted area. It's not too small compared to the chest that it's hanging over. It is really, really well thought out and it takes up the space it's supposed to. It doesn't look dinky. It's really, really pretty. So again, it should span 2/3 to three quarters of the furniture width, and it should be hung no more than like 6 to 10 inches. I like would give you 12 if it's like a huge, huge piece and it's a huge mantle that's like really high, so that you didn't have to like crane your neck and look past the mantle. If that makes sense. But typically stick between 6 to 10 inches. And honestly, if it's like a smaller area, you can get away with like 4 inches. Um, so and then artwork and grouping. So if you're pairing any artwork together in a collage in just like four panels, they should be between 2 and 4 inches together. Again, it's depends on the scale. So if it's something that's like a normal size, really stick to 2 inches between the art. So we're going to do a little quiz, see if you're paying attention. How would you rate the artwork in this room? Would we change anything? If you were in person, you would get to hear all of this fantastic discussion. But we're just going to answer the questions for you. We would make this artwork, again, way bigger. It needs to take up the space. I love how dark it is. A lot of people commented that it's too dark. I don't think so. I like how dark it is. I think it contrasts like the creamy beige walls and it really plays with like the bedding, it plays with the mantle. I like it. Another thing that we didn't do is I would maybe add above that little chest another coordinating piece of art. Again, coordinate, don't match. It does not have to be a girl on a horse like above the mantle. It can be something that just kind of plays with those colors or that texture. It could be a print, it could be a map, something that just coordinates, doesn't match. So you can see kind of the before and after, just it takes up the space. It's better. Okay. And then as far as spacing goes, art should be hung around eye level. And I always chuckle when I say that because I'm really short. So I have made the mistake of hanging things at my eye level and then it looks a little wonky because I'm short. So if you are 6 foot, congratulations, I'm jealous. But hang that at your eye level or ask a 6 foot friend, husband, whatever. To like stand where you're trying to hang things and just make sure everything is down just high enough to make it most people's eye level. Um Again, 6 to 10 inches above furniture. And then if you're putting lamps or other decor in front of art, it should be half to three quarters of the height. So you can see the greenery on this mantle. It could be a little bit taller to reach half to three quarters of that art. Okay, another interactive practice. If you were here, you could hear all of the back and forths on if these pictures are hung well or not. I do like the pictures. I love the color of the furniture. I like that we have bold furniture, so we stayed kind of neutral on the pictures. I would move the pictures down. We did have someone comment on the glare. Very good thing to point out. But my main concern would be just moving the artwork down. Um, you can see in this one that like it just keeps everything eye level and it's balanced. Um, yeah, there's no other reasoning besides someone who's really good at science did the math and figured out that that's what your eyeball likes to see. Okay, in order to create a gallery wall, again, mix it up with a combo of artwork and media. Fill this large space. I love filling space. Um, if you create a gallery wall, you can stick to either similar media, similar subjects, or like the same artist. If you love Picasso, do all kinds of Picasso paintings. That would be great. If you love oil paintings, do a bunch of oil paintings. Or you can mix it up. It really doesn't matter. I like to do a gallery wall and I like to mix in like antlers, a little antelope head, like some other fun things, found items, baskets, antiques, greenery, a little wreath. You know what I mean? Something to, again, give it a little more texture. I think this room on this slide has plenty of texture. Um, so they didn't need to necessarily do all of that, but it is really, really pretty the way they did it. Um, if a gallery isn't your style, you can find what's called a triptych, which is just like 3 pieces of artwork that are like the same but in 3 panels, to take up more space. And then I would follow the shape of the wall and the furniture you have. Again, this picture on the side does a really good job of showing you like they're staying that 6 inches above the furniture, and it's okay. It works. You don't have to have everything the same level, if that makes sense. So again, here are a couple ways to use multiple pieces of art. Traditional, there's 2 prints with this art light on top of it that fill this space. If you're a little more eclectic, you can do, there's 2 oil paintings and then these little, I can never remember what this is called, but the little casting. That's really cool. And they're kind of following the shape of the stairs. And then this is an example of what I was talking about, the triptych, which is 3 panels or 3 pieces that are essentially the same. Um, so yeah, don't be afraid to make a statement. Use artwork with both colors, subjects, techniques. It just adds so much more to rooms when you put these design elements in. When you stick to everything like one color, one texture, if you're doing like a theme and your entire room has reds in it, like it just gets boring and you're going to get tired of it quicker. And then you're going to want to change the whole room instead of just like 1 or 2 pieces when you get tired of them, if that makes sense. You can also utilize artwork to like elicit a certain feeling, memory, emotion, or energy in a room. So, like these apples, I would hang in the kitchen. It would be so fun, so pretty. Obviously, an apple goes in a kitchen. It's vibrant. Like a kitchen is a lively place, etc. A landscape, a really pretty, serene landscape in a bedroom, like makes you want to go to sleep, and that's what you want to feel like when you're in your bedroom. And then if you're not an art person, you're not okay, but it's okay. We'll figure it out. We have a ton of other stuff, like I said, antiques, fun little sculptures. I have these like bronze animal heads that have like, again, the monocle, the glasses, one smoking a pipe. They're really funny. And it's just interesting and it's not like the same old. You can do fabric tapestries. I know people think they're out. They're not. They're not. They're so pretty. An architectural piece, so little panels like this with wrought iron, and then or a mural or a wallpaper. I know people keep yelling at me, but the murals and the wallpapers are back. So get out your glue, put them up. So thanks for watching. Always bring us pictures. Always show us what you're up to. We would be happy to help. And yeah.